Why do the Lokpal people believe they are emperors, that they must be given glorious luxuries? So that means this Lokpal is really doing nothing. They are just there to enjoy a comfortable life. The chairman gets a salary of Chief Justice of India and all kinds of perks. And now they are wanting even this. For what? What are you giving in return to the people? Isn't it shameful on the part of the chairman and members of the Lokpal to behave like this? I think Lokpal should be abolished. The Lokpal Act should be repealed. Lokpal should be the post and all other post members. It's a useless body. Why? I'm sure it's not just the salary. Huge amount of money must be being spent on this Lokpal establishment. There must have been a huge building, a lot of staff, must have been hundreds of crores. On whom is the burden falling? It is falling on the public. And what is the public getting in return? Nothing. No reduction in corruption. Corruption is rampant everywhere.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. On 16th of October, anti-graft ombudsman, that is Lokpal, he floated a tender to procure 7 luxurious BMW cars, collectively worth around 5 crore rupees, drawing condemnation from the opposition parties and the anti-corruption activists who questioned the institution's priorities and performance record. Now, the big question is that if you look at the performance record of the Lokpal, has he delivered according to the expectations? Because if you look at the statistics, if you look at the data, not many prosecutions have happened, and Lokpal hasn't done that kind of a service which was expected out of him. And now he enjoys the perks like a BMW. So is the opposition parties, when they are condemning this move, is it fair or is it unfair? How does one look at this particular issue? Joining me this evening is former Supreme Court Justice and also someone who's been the Press Council of India Chairman, Justice Markandey Katju. So thank you so much for joining on HW News. And my first question, sir, to you is that what do you really have to say to the institution of Lokpal? And especially when the Lokpal floats a tender for BMW cars worth 70 lakh each, and that too for the Lokpal as well as the 6 members of the Lokpal. What do you really have to say on this move?
In my opinion, it is shameful. This is a poor country. After all this money has to come out of taxes paid by the public. Why do the Lokpal people believe they are emperors, that they must be given glorious luxuries? And moreover, look at their performance. I was going through Google. Although the Lokpal Act was passed in 2013, but first Lokpal was appointed only in 2019. That was Justice Pinaki Ghosh. Since then, I read on Google, there have been 8,700 complaints against various authorities. Only 24 out of those 8,700 have been investigated, and prosecutions have been launched only against 6 out of those 8,700. So that means this Lokpal is really doing nothing. They are just there to enjoy a comfortable life. The chairman gets a salary of Chief Justice of India and all kinds of perks. And now they are wanting even this. For what? What are you giving in return to the people? Isn't it shameful on the part of the chairman and members of the Lokpal to behave like this, ordering luxury cars? Why can't you go on just an ordinary car? This is shameful. And in a poor country, can we afford this? After all, this is a poor country. These people must realize, but they just want to have a comfortable life, do no work. Obviously, they were doing no work when out of 8,700 complaints, investigations were made only in 24 cases and prosecution launched in only 6. Obviously, Lokpal were doing nothing except enjoying the sinecure with the chairman has got.
No, but Justice Katju, does it really go to show? Does it really go to show, as what Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi also said, that these guardians of integrity are chasing luxury over legitimacy? Now, many people would say that what is the big deal? The Lokpals are eligible for this kind of fleet of cars. So how does one look at the issue?
No, how they are eligible to a car, but not a luxurious car. Please understand the difference between going on a Rolls Royce and going on a ordinary car.
Yes.
When I retired as a Supreme Court judge, I had no car. I had to buy a Honda, which I bought for 12 lakh rupees. And I still have that Honda with me. And I'm not craving for a BMW or a Rolls Royce. Why should you behave like the King of England or the President of America that you must have a fleet of cars? Have an ordinary car, live a simple life, behave like a simple person so that people will respect you. Why do you want luxuries? This is shameful on the public. And I knew this Justice Khanvilkar from before. He was much junior to me. He was a Bombay High Court judge when I was a Supreme Court judge. And at that time, I had an opinion about him. In fact, once I went from Delhi to Bombay and he invited me to his house for lunch, and he called the other Bombay High Court judges also. That time I was a Supreme Court judge. So I had a good opinion, but the way he is behaving, I'm very sad to say. He has been appointed in March for a term of 5 years. And now this is October. He has done practically nothing. I have not heard of a single important case which he has got even investigated. What is he doing except enjoying all the salary and perks of office? And now he's wanting these further luxuries. You see, these people should realize this is a poor country. Our people can't bear this burden. As it is, they are, under the huge price rise and massive unemployment and poverty. People are suffering so much. Why should you add on the financial burdens on the public?
No, but Justice Katju, if you can see the unfairness in the demand, that it's a totally unjust demand of having BMWs as the fleet of cars with the Lokpal and the 6 members, why couldn't Justice Khanvilkar understand this? I'm sure he understands that it's a poor country and they can't be chasing luxury over legitimacy like this.
देखिए, हिंदी में कहावत है, दुनिया में आए हैं तो कुछ काम कीजिए, जनता के पैसे से जलपान कीजिए. तो ये जनता के पैसे से जलपान कर रहे हैं, इसी में मजा आ रहा है इनको. अब क्या समझाएं? यानी ये क्या, am I there to teach morality to these people? They are not children, they are grown up people above 65 years of age. They should have learnt how to behave. But this is, you see, unfortunately, the moral standards in this country have decayed. Almost all institutions have collapsed. They have become shallow, hollow and empty shells. Whether you take parliament and most of judiciary, I'm not saying all judiciary, but most of judiciary and bureaucracy, election commission, this National Human Rights Commission. What is National Human Rights Commission being doing? Nothing except provide a chair for some judges who are known to be close to the government. So this is just sinecures which are given, like Justice Ranjan Gogoi got Rajya Sabha ticket, so that because for being loyal to the government. So this is just a sort of a way of bribing these people, these Supreme Court judges. This is sophisticated way of giving bribes, that you give them these luxury cars and high salaries and perks and all that, so that they remain quiet. But this is not, a person with some morality. After all, your parents teach you what is proper and what is improper. You should yourself not do things which the public will not appreciate. I'm sorry, Khanvilkar has behaved in a very, uh, 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 very unfortunate way, and I did not expect this from him. I had a better opinion earlier about it.
Do you also feel, Justice Katju, that now the Lokpal has almost surrendered to the powers that be? Rather than solving cases, rather than prosecuting people, they are indulging more in pleasing the powers that be.
All institutions have surrendered. Why only pick on Lokpal? Has the Election Commission not surrendered? Has large section, not large section of judiciary not surrendered? That has Parliament not surrendered? I saw on many of your shows you had with Arun Agarwal, and Arun Agarwal was saying that judiciary has surrendered. There are still some honest judges. I don't deny that. But a large section has surrendered. So all institutions have surrendered of what is to be expected now. The whole system has collapsed. So what is Lokpal? They are just enjoying sinecure, a good salary and good perks to enjoy a comfortable life after retirement as a Supreme Court.
But what happens now? Say, for example, if a student doesn't perform well, then he's marked as red in his report card. But what about a Lokpal if he's not performing? I was looking at some dismal data, performance data of the Lokpal, and just sharing a few cases which are there. Now, 68% of the cases by the Lokpal have been closed without action. Then, since 2019, only 34 cases have been sent for investigation, and prosecution sanction has been granted in just 7 cases. The Lokpal has not prosecuted a single person for graft to date. Now, what would you really say to the performance record of the Lokpal? Since we are talking about the Lokpal, of course, all institutions seem to have meekly subjugated to the powers that be. But since this demand for BMW cars has raised questions on the performance record of the Lokpal. So what would you really say if the Lokpal is not performing? How would you set the accountability of the Lokpal then?
I think your figures, you better check up on Google. I checked up just about 15 minutes back on Google. My figures are very different from your figures. My figures is that since the first Lokpal was appointed in 2019, that is Justice Pinaki Ghosh, it has been about 6 years now. In 6 years, 8,700 complaints were filed before the Lokpal, of which only 24 out of that 8,700, only 24 were investigated, and in only 6 prosecutions were launched. This is the figure. You better check up I think your figures, you better need to check up the Google again. This is, I checked them repeatedly. My figures are different from yours.
I'm checking on the Google only, which and with a keyword, the performance record of the Lokpal, which says, and the parliamentary panels basically have noted that in most of the cases, the genuine complaints have been rejected. The by and large message is that the Lokpal hasn't been performing well. There could be variations in figures here and there, but the by and large message is that the Lokpal is not performing its functions, it's not performing its duties. Genuine complaints are being sidelined, then they are rejected. There is lack of action, ineffective enforcement, and parliamentary committees have recommended that the Lokpal act as an enabler rather than an inhibitor, and not reject complaints on purely technical grounds. So delays are there, corruption is there. So what would you really say? Do we need a Lokpal? There was such a huge campaign in 2013 when India Against Corruption campaign was there. The Lokpal Act was brought in 2014. Then there was a super delay in the appointments. 2019, when finally the appointment was done, and look at what has happened till 2025. Now we have complaints against the Lokpal as well.
I think Lokpal should be abolished. The Lokpal Act should be repealed. Lokpal should be the post and all other post members. It's a useless body. I'm sure it's not just the salary. Huge amount of money must be being spent on this Lokpal establishment. There must have been a huge building, a lot of staff, must have been hundreds of crores. On whom is the burden falling? it is falling on the public. And what is the public getting in return? Nothing. No reduction in corruption. Corruption is rampant everywhere. So you must have read. I read that DIG Bullar in Punjab. Just a few years back, he was arrested. It was found 5 crores in cash in his house, 2 kilos of gold, and God knows how many watches, Swiss watches, and whatnot. I mean, there's just one tip of the iceberg. You can take many cases which have not yet come to light. So, what is the Lokpal doing? Should they not have really checked, at least reduced corruption to a bit? They have done nothing except enjoying life.
In fact,
enjoying all the perks.
Right. In fact, what you're saying...
abolish the Lokpal. It is a useless body. Abolish the Lokpal. It is a useless body. It's a waste of the taxpayers' money. Unnecessary burden is being put on the public, on you and I. Why have this Lokpal when it is doing nothing?
So you are saying, Justice Katju, that Lokpal should be abolished completely. It's a useless body. But just taking a cue from what you said, now here again, some data is available on the Google that Lokpal received a budget of 197 crore for 2022 and 2023 and purchased a new office space for 254.88 crore in 2022. However, parliamentary reports have also highlighted vacancies and sought details on how they are being filled. So basically, look at the amount of money which is being spent, the allotment in the budgetary allocations which are done for Lokpal, and we are getting nothing.
Exactly. Huge amount of money. I told hundreds of crores are being spent on this body. And in return, public is getting nothing. No reduction in corruption. So just get rid of this body. It's a useless body. And I'm sorry to say that I had a good opinion of Khanvilkar, but now he has gone down totally in my esteem. It seems he has no principle. The way he is behaving, he has done nothing, and now he's wanting BMW cars. What is, are you an emperor, or what is this way you're behaving?
But what was the objective of Lokpal? Lokpal was supposed to be looking into the graft cases, the corruption cases of the public servants who were appointed by the central government, and not much of anything of that sort is happening. So what would you really say, that has the entire purpose of the Lokpal and having a Lokpal Act, Lokpal being appointed, has it gone down the drain? The effort goes as a total waste.
Now, if you can give me 2 or 3 minutes, I would like to go into a little deeper into this matter.
Please.
I have respect for Pandit Nehru, the first Prime Minister. He was not corrupt. In his time, a large number of chief ministers could nobody could lift a finger on them. Like, for instance, Mr. Kamraj of Tamil Nadu. You know, he was chief minister. He had lost his father when he was very small. And his old mother used to live in the village. And she did not have in a small house even a tap water to get. She had to go to the outside to the road to the municipal tap. And some municipal officer installed a tap water in her house from the municipal connection. And when Kamraj came to know, he got furious. He said this tap water from the municipal taps is only for the public. And he got that only tap in his mother's house removed. Because he said this is meant for public, not for private use. This was the high standard. Dr. B.C. Roy of West Bengal, just imagine, he had a top practice of over 50,000 rupees in those days, which must be worth 50 lakhs today. And he gave it up, and nobody accused him of corruption. He was getting a salary as chief minister of 500 rupees. That was the salary at that time. And he was treating patients. Those were the high standards. What happened was, after Pandit Nehru died, his daughter, I blame her for destruction of all institutions in India. Indira Gandhi is the person. She had no respect for institutions, and particularly after the judgment of the Allahabad High Court came against her, disqualifying her from election and debarring her for 6 years for corrupt practices, she decided, I must suppress all institutions. She packed the judiciary. She subverted parliament and imposed emergency and got those MPs who spoke out against it, arrested. She crushed all. Her only principle was You can do corruption provided you are loyal to me. This was Indira Gandhi's principle to all chief ministers, other ministers. As long as you are loyal to me, you can make money. So the same legacy is being followed. Why are Congress people blaming BJP? What about Congress? What were you doing? You started it. Indira Gandhi started destruction of institutions. Once you destroy institutions, then whichever government comes to power will do the same. So I blame Indira Gandhi more than BJP for what is happening in India today, including this BMW cars for Lokpal chairman and member. The whole thing started from Indira Gandhi. She had no respect for institutions. She destroyed all institutions.
Right.
And this is what we are now facing. BJP following the same policy.
That's about institutions in general. But coming back to the Lokpal question and the question on Lokpal, people have also written on the social media that the honorable judges of the Supreme Court, they are provided modest sedans. But why does the chairman and the 6 members of the Lokpal require BMW cars? Why spend public money to acquire these cars? And people are expecting that at least 1 or 2 members of the Lokpal will refuse to accept the cars. Do you think that's going to happen, Justice Katju?
Now, maybe after all this outcry, some of it may happen. But after all, who ordered those BMW cars? Surely chairman knew about. He must have ordered it. Is it possible to believe that the chairman of Lokpal did not know about that BMW cars are being ordered? I cannot believe that. He knew it, and I think all 7 members knew about it. So it is not that it was without their knowledge.
No, and of course,
they ordered it.
When Justice Katju, the budgetary allocation happens from the level of the government, I'm sure Lokpal must have taken the government's approval on this, and then only the tender must have been floated.
Yes, agreed. I told you this is sophisticated way of bribing. That here, take whatever you want, and in return, do our bidding. Whatever we tell you to do, you do. So these are sophisticated way of bribing all these BMW cars and all. But what I'm saying, it started from Indira Gandhi. Why blame BJP alone? These now I'm seeing social media, Congress people, Jairam, Ramesh and P. Chidambaram shouting and screaming from the rooftops against this BMW car. What were you people doing? Did you not? Was corruption not rampant in your time? Indira Gandhi, whose only principle was
Justice Katju, they got penalized for what they did. I'm not trying to justify what Indira Gandhi did or what the Congress people saying. They lost power badly because their perception went down in the eyes of the people, and they got penalized for it. But now it's the same India against corruption which was supported by the RSS, and now which batted heavily for the Lokpal. And look at what is happening to the Lokpal. And I will just read out the notice of the Lokpal, what it says, the tender which has been floated. The Lokpal of India invites open tenders from reputed agencies for the supply of 7 BMW 3 Series L1 cars to the Lokpal of India. It mentions that the start date for bid submission was October 17th, while the end date for bid submission is November 6th at 3 p.m. and the evaluation process is set to begin on November 7th. Do you think that this kind of a bidding should be allowed at all? You said that the Lokpal should be abolished. What about the tender whose notice has already been issued?
If the Lokpal is abolished, all this will all go. I said this whole Lokpal should be abolished. It's a useless body. I mean, just consider, if you are a public authority, you are paid salary. Where does that salary come from? From the taxes paid by the public. So you must give something in return to the public. What is the Lokpal giving in return for the public? Nothing. Out of 8,700 cases filed, investigation made only 24. Please check up your Google again. You haven't checked up Google properly. I've checked up half a dozen times.
Justice Katju, it also talks about, after the notice, this notice which has been issued, the Lokpal also requires the selected vendor or the firm to conduct a comprehensive practical and theoretical training program for the drivers and other designated staff members of the anti-corruption ombudsman. It also requires that the training be conducted for a minimum of 7 days and completed within 15 days from the date of delivery of the cars. Now, forget the Lokpal. Even the drivers have to be trained now at the taxpayers' money. I mean, what is the logic? I mean, I just don't understand.
I don't know what logic can I understand. There's no logic. ये सब ड्रामाबाजी हो रहा है. ये all they want, the Lokpal chairman and members, they want a jolly good life. They must be have given huge residential buildings, huge cars, huge all kind of perks. ठीक है.
Justice Katju, there is a small disclaimer also at the end of the notice that this the training program, the honorarium, travel, accommodation, etc., fuel, materials, and logistics should be borne exclusively by the vendor, the car vendor. I mean, the training of the drivers and everything. So, does it absolve the very question on the BMW then?
अरे भाई ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. मैं समझ में ये आ रहा है कि ये जो चेयरमैन और मेंबर ऑफ लोकपाल हैं, इनकी मेंटेलिटी है कि खूब मुर्गा मछली खाओ, मौज से रहो और घूमो फिरो, बढ़िया मकान में रहो, बढ़िया मोटर कार मिली है, घूमो फिरो, मौज करो, मस्ती मारो, काम धाम तो कुछ है नहीं. तो लिहाजा they will, they just want to live the good life. But this is shameful. इनको कोई वो नहीं है, इनर कॉन्शियंस नहीं है कि देखिए ये गरीब मुल्क है, इस पे बोझा मत डालो, डोंट एड फाइनेंशियल बर्डन, लिव इन लिमिटेड फ्रूगल लाइफ. Authorities in a poor country should live frugal lives.
No, but this is really an anomaly because it's an anti-graft ombudsman which is now floating tenders for expensive BMW cars. Now, what do you think is the message or the deliberate message which the ombudsman is trying to give, and what is the kind of message which the government is trying to give to the people by approving this kind of a tender?
देखिए, पहले एक चीज आप समझिए. Can I speak in Hindi also a bit?
Yes,
English,
sir.
Hindi mix. So I speak only in English.
This is an English channel, so sir, it will be better if you speak in English.
I'm speaking more in English. देखिए, see, in our country, you cannot do politics without corruption. The reason being, politics has become a very expensive affair. Every candidate for a Lok Sabha election has to spend maybe 8-10 crores. Where does this money come from except by corruption? Or if you want to run an organization like the Congress or the BJP, you will require hundreds and hundreds of crores to run a huge organization. Where will the money come from? Obviously from corruption. So ये जो अरविंद केजरीवाल साहब ने ड्रामा किया, he formed this Aam Aadmi party, and taking help of Anna Hazare movement. It was all drama, and Arvind Kejriwal himself realized that politics can't be done without corruption, and he then became corrupt. You can't do, in the present framework, you can't do politics without corruption because politics is very expensive. So when the top leadership, which is political, has to become corrupt because it's so expensive, then all authorities, they will act on their dictates. By all the authorities act on the dictates of the government. Now it has become very clear. Your Arun Agarwal that day was,
right.
I was seeing in your program.
Right. No, Justice Katju, but if you talk about the act, and since you yourself have been a Supreme Court judge, I would like your opinion on this. It says that under the Lokpal and the Lokayuktas Act 2013, the salary, allowances, and other conditions of service of the chairperson shall be the same as the Chief Justice of India, which is the chair. I mean, they're talking about the Lokpal, the salaries and allowances, and those of other members shall be the same as a Supreme Court judge. CJI, that is the Chief Justice of India, is allotted a Mercedes, and other judges of the court are currently given BMWs. The current Lokpal is a former Apex Court judge, Justice A.M. Khanvilkar, whose landmark judgments prioritize national security over personal liberty. Now, does that justify that there's no point in questioning because it's part of the game and it's the position allows these kind of perks?
It does not allow. This is wrong. I was also on that position. I should know better than you do. You say so confidently that the position justifies it. How? Why you was Neelu Vyas ever a Supreme Court judge? I was.
No, I'm asking
So ask
you,
me.
sir. Yeah.
Then but you have said very confidently that this position justifies this. How do you say? Don't talk without off the cuff. You are talking to a person who was in that position, and yet you claim as if you were a Supreme Court judge. This is not. I never had a BMW car. I just an ordinary car, and when I retired, I had no car. I had to buy a car. I bought a Honda for 12 lakh rupees. I remember. I still use that car to go anywhere. 12 lakh rupees, not 75 lakhs, with just 70 lakhs or whatever this BMW cost. Why should we have a BMW? In a poor country, should the authorities have luxuries?
And
I mean, I'm
also,
not asking them to live like that, but I'm not saying that the authority should live like that.
you are 100% right, Justice Katju, but the point is that people also are arguing that how redundant is this position of the Lokpal, because it's a wastage of public resources. We already have an existing Central Vigilance Commission which does exactly what the Lokpal is supposed to do. So why replicate the jobs then? So do we actually, and these are my last two questions to you, that do we really need a Lokpal when you already have a Central Vigilance Commission?
We don't need a Lokpal. In Lokpal के chairman और members को कान पकड़ के बाहर निकाल देना चाहिए and to tell them to get out. जाओ अपने घर जाओ जहाँ के रहने वाले और जिस खल मिलकर. I am shocked at the way he has behaved because I have known him. I had a high opinion about him, but what he has done is totally brought him down in my esteem. You don't know him. I knew him.
Yes. No,
Yeah,
but
he's done shocking.
right. And very interestingly, former Niti Aayog chairperson Amitabh Kant, he went on a Swadeshi tangent and he's written on X that they need to cancel this tender and go in for Make India electric vehicles, either Mahindra XEV, 9e, BE, 6 or Tata's Harrier EV. They are all top class vehicles. This is what he has posted on X.
I go further. In सब chairman और members और लोकपाल कान पकड़ के बाहर निकाल दो. बंद हो जाना चाहिए लोकपाल. The institution should be closed down because it is useless. What is it doing? Out of 8,700 cases, only in 24 year ordered investigation. And
Prime Minister himself, the Justice Katju, Prime Minister himself uses a Range Rover Sentinel, which is worth around 10 crores. And so can he come down on these judges when the tender is being floated for BMW?
And we are not talking of Prime Minister, we are talking of the Lokpal. So let's not mix up two issues.
Okay.
Discuss this on some other occasion. But the way Lokpal has been behaving, I mean, I have not, first Lokpal was appointed in 2019, Justice Pinaki Ghosh. I had retired before he had become a Supreme Court judge. I never knew him. But I have not heard of any important case since 2019 when the first Lokpal was appointed. Any important case where Lokpal has investigated corruption. कोई आपने सुना है? आपने कोई सुना है important case 2019 में बना पहला Lokpal? Have you heard of any important case where Lokpal has ordered prosecution for corruption or even investigated corruption? They have been doing nothing and sitting on their haunches, sitting on their backsides and having a jolly good time. I think स्कॉच विस्की पीते होंगे घर में बैठ के, मुर्गा मछली खाते होंगे ये चेयरमैन और मेंबर्स, और तो कोई काम धाम करते नहीं है. They don't do anything. So they should be thrown out, kicked out.
Right.
So deserve to be not just removed, they deserve to be kicked out the way they have behaved.
Right.
Shameful manner. In a poor country where people have little to eat, people are there's massive unemployment, massive poverty and price rise and hunger and so on. These fellows want to enjoy a jolly good life. पता है ये तो वजह हो गया ना, वो जो Queen Marie Antoinette थी, the wife of the last king of France, Louis XVI, who was guillotined. When people said that we don't have bread, she said, go and eat cakes. तो ये लोग cakes खा रहे हैं, these people are eating cakes. People should eat bread, and they are eating cakes. This is the way these people are behaving. Shameful.
Right. So you have very clearly suggested that we don't need a Lokpal. It should be abolished, and it's a redundant position. That's what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. Absolutely. All right, Justice Katju, thank you so much, and always a pleasure having you on the program, sir. Thank you.